If you're one of those people that throws the toys at the pram as soon as you have one meal out when you're trying to be on a diet, then watch this, because today I'm gonna hit all my macros only eating out. And if you're new here, I'm Blair. I'm an online coach that specializes in helping people build lean, athletic bodies so they can do the stuff they want to do without second guessing themselves. I actually forgot to clarify how many eggs that I was gonna get. So I wanted 4.
I didn't eat my eggs this morning.
This was definitely more bread than I factored. All right, we're here at Two Children in Stockbridge, and this is what we're starting our day with. So I've literally had nothing to eat so far today, apart from a coffee at home. So this is what we've got. Now, I went for poached eggs on toast, because for me, a meal like this, where I'm trying to, when I'm on a diet, and I'm trying to keep things in check, I basically want to try and eat as close to normal as possible for most of my meals, right? So for breakfast, I normally would have eggs on toast. I'd scramble them at home, but today I'm going poached eggs with a side of toast, probably more toast than what I would have factored for. I might have a little bit of the butter. It's probably a little bit less eggs than I'd normally have, but I'll show you how I track this in on the way home. A quick little pro tip as well though, if you are having especially breakfast out, I would always go for poached eggs or boiled eggs over the scrambled. Because as I say, I usually would scramble them at home myself, but when you have scrambled eggs out, they're probably gonna have like cream, butter, oils, or just a bunch of extra stuff in there that's gonna be very difficult to track in. So for me, I'll go poached eggs, because you know there's gonna be basically no or none of those extra bits and pieces involved in there. So poached eggs with some toast, and I'll show you how I track it after I eat it.
Shame on me.
So we have just wrapped up at Two Children. As you saw my breakfast, poached eggs on toast. I left one slice of toast just because there's definitely more toast than I had sort of pre-programmed in my head. And I think sometimes, you know, you have to rely on your level of discipline a little bit more when it comes to eating out, and kind of realize maybe when you would be taking the piss on yourself. And I think if I had all that toast on the plate there, I would have been. So I've tracked it in like this on my phone with my MyFitnessPal. So basically, we've got 2.5 slices of bread, and that's just the bread that I normally track at home. I went for 2.5 because the bread there was much thicker than what my normal bread is at home. And I've put in 3 medium eggs. Normally I would maybe track in some oil and some butter and bits like that, but because there was definitely no oil on those eggs, I thought I didn't really need to. And then I always track in 200 mils of milk with my breakfast anyway, because I feel like that just covers me for the day with like maybe little bits of milk that I put into coffees and stuff anyway. So yeah, that's what my breakfast was. One more point that I think is useful, you know, when it does come to particularly eating breakfast out, is that I'll try and avoid sausages mainly, because they're always going to be pretty low protein and very high in fat, which then means they're going to be quite high in calories for little protein, right? If I was going to have some sort of meat, it would probably be bacon, specifically back bacon, because again, fat content a little bit lower, protein content is going to be higher, and it's going to be better budgeting of your calories. So anyway, that's breakfast done. We're now going to take the dogs for a walk, and then I'll see you for a snack or lunch, whatever's next. Let's go up and around. So we are back from breakfast, picked up the world's largest coffee, Starbucks, because efficiency, order from the app, pick it up on the way home. Good point though, if you are gonna get coffees out and about when you are, you know, on a diet, you're trying to lose a little bit of body fat or just kind of keep everything in check, then I would always go for just black Americanos, right? I have added a bit of my own milk in here, but as I showed you in the last clip, you know, I always track in a little bit of milk throughout the day anyway to kind of factor in milk that I'll put into things like coffees. But I would avoid flat whites, especially things like lattes, cappuccinos, just because they're going to be way too many calories. But if you did have something, like if you did have a flat white, then even if it's not from Starbucks, I would just type in MyFitnessPal, you know, like Starbucks UK flat white, and just pick the one that's kind of verified with the tick. But anyway, so I'm hoping that from this video, you just take away how you could fit different options, whether that's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, into your actual normal day worth of eating. And to be fair, the tactics and the choices I'm making, they're not exclusive for when you're on a diet. You know, you could also use the same logic and even some of the same choices if you're trying to, you know, eat more calories and add weight as well, or whatever your specific goal is. You can still use these. As I say, they're not only for when you're on a diet. I think it's just good practice for when you're trying to track your food and you want to balance in meals out. This is kind of how I would do it. So for me today, the calorie target I'm trying to not necessarily hit, but just stay in and around of is 2,765. And then basically I just want to get upwards of 200 grams worth of protein throughout the day. Now, I've said it in other videos in this series, I'm still not that bothered about what my carbs are doing and what my fats are doing. Because for me right now, I just don't think it's worth me putting in the extra effort to hit those two specific macros. So for me, I'm happy just going for calories and protein. Now, I know that a day where I'm eating out every single meal and every single snack, naturally, my fats will probably be quite higher than what they typically would be. And protein will probably be a little bit lower. So that's one thing that I'm going to be really conscious of throughout the day, because I really want to make sure that everything I eat has at least a solid amount of protein in there. Otherwise, it would be very hard for me to hit the 200 grams. So I wanted to stick with the theme of obviously getting all my food out on the go today. So on the way back from breakfast, we stopped and picked up a few things. First of all, if you could buy a single squares bar, that would be handy, but you couldn't, so I had to buy 4. I will have one of these as one of my snacks throughout the day, but I'll let you know when. Probably be my sort of like pre-workout snack. I was wanting to buy one of those Graham's yogurt, squeezy pouch things with 25 grams of protein in there. They didn't have them, but I'm sure we'll be able to pick up we'll be able to pick up one somewhere else. And then I also got one of the Grenade white Oreo bars as well. So picked these up on the go, again, just to prove the point that you can make decisions in line with what your nutritional goals are just from eating out across the day. So I will let you know when I actually eat these, but for now, probably gonna do a little bit more work. And then next meal will be lunch. All right, so we are about to go for lunch at Newtown Deli, which is actually just up the road. And I thought this would be a good one to do because originally I was gonna go Nando's for lunch, but then I felt like that's a bit of a cop-out on this day of I'm trying to eat out all the time, and show you guys how to track your food. And I will be having a chain place for dinner that I've already decided, but we'll come to that later on in the video. But I thought I'll do another place that's more of like an independent spot, because those tend to be the ones that are a bit trickier to track. Right now, we're gonna go to Newtown Deli. I have had a look at the menu in advance, and that's like one of the key things I think you should be doing when you're trying to eat out, right? And as I said, it's much easier if you just have the one meal to balance in throughout the day, because you know that you're in full control of your meals outside of that. So if my lunch today was the only meal out, then I would probably have more of what I would just generally want, because I know that I would be able to fit that in based off the other food I'm deciding to eat across the day. But because the whole point of today is that I'm eating out every meal, then I have to be more tactful, and I'm looking in advance to see, right, what could I order that is going to give me a good amount of protein, that's going to be within a decent amount of calories. So for me, I've chosen to go for their club sandwich. Now normally this would come with a pretty fat side bowl of chips. I will not be having that today because I just do not have the calories to play with those, which is unfortunate. But the way I've decided to track this, I'll show you in a second. Let me just get my FitnessPal up. So for lunch, I've looked at the menu, I've decided what I'm gonna have, and then I've basically just tracked the ingredients that they are telling me is in the sandwich. So I've got 2 slices of bread, and this is the bread that I tend to eat. Now, quick side tangent with bread. For me, I'll always track in a bread that is high calorie, right? Especially if I don't know what's coming from the place that we're gonna go to. One slice of bread could be 80 calories, or one slice of bread could be like 230 calories. Depending on the thickness and so many other different factors that can be involved. So for me, I tend to have bread that's quite high calorie anyway that I would eat at home. So I've tracked in 2 slices of that. I've tracked in 2 rashers of streaky bacon. I've tracked in 150 grams of chicken breast, 30 milliliters, which is eventually 30 grams of full fat mayonnaise. And then I've also tracked in 5 grams of oil, just because I imagine they will be putting oil on the grill when they're cooking the bacon, when they're cooking the chicken. And that's something that a lot of people will forget when they're eating out, is that, the goal of a restaurant is to get you to come back to that restaurant, right? They don't give a fuck about the calories, unless it's like one of these health conscious places, then yeah, fine. But most places, the goal is to make food that tastes so good that you want to come back and eat that food again, which is a fair argument. So they're gonna use extra butters, extra oils, and just anything that they believe is gonna make the meal taste better. So for me, and if you're going for a meal out when you're on a diet or you're just trying to track it in, make sure that you are just generally tracking in some oil, maybe some butter, just to factor in for these extra calories that they're going to be including. Really warm, mate. So one thing that I wanted to mention in this video is if you are going out to eat at a non-chain restaurant or cafe and you don't really know how to track in what you're having, then here's a little tip. Oh, tummy rubs. As to how I would go about it sometimes. So if you have access to the menu or it's just pretty obvious as to what is on the plate, then you could actually just track in individual ingredients, as I have done for my lunch, right? Because it's kind of obvious as to what's in the sandwich I'm gonna have. But let's say you're going somewhere like, I don't know, an independent sort of like pizza place or something, right? Then yes, you could try and track in the individual ingredients. It's probably gonna be a lot more challenging. So what I would do in that case is I would go to a chain. I wouldn't go physically to a chain pizza place, but you could go to the menu of, I don't know, Pizza Express or Franco Manca, find a pizza that's pretty similar to the one that you ordered from insert independent pizza place here, and choose one that's pretty similar and track that in, because all these, pardon me, all these bigger chains will have all their nutritional information available online, so you can go and check it. And especially after you've eaten the pizza from the independent place, you'll then be able to know, actually, you know what, it was probably a little bit bigger than what you would get at Franco Manca's. So I'll track in like, 1.2 of the pizza from Franco Manca's to cover this independent place I've had. So hopefully that makes sense, but that's just a little tip as to another way that you can track in food that you're eating out that isn't from a chain place that has the nutritional information available. All right, so the chicken club is ordered and here it is.
Yeah, straight. There you go.
All right, so now having seen the sandwich in IRL, in real life, I'm gonna adjust what I've tracked because I can see there's 3 slices of bread in here, which is definitely smaller than the slices I normally track, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bump up what I've tracked to 2.5 slices because I know that the bread that I normally have is thicker. So we'll say 2.5 instead of just 2. I think everything else looks pretty much bang on in terms of the amount of chicken and the amount of bacon. Yes, there's some coleslaw and cabbage and spinach through there, but I don't think that's gonna be too much of a problem. So club sandwich, time to eat. Very good, very nice. All right, people, so we are just about to have my pre-workout snack, which is one of the Squares bars we picked up earlier today, and I didn't get a chance. I wanted to get one of those squeezy yogurt pouches from the shop as well, but they didn't have any. But I will pick up one of them probably either on the way or on the way back from the gym, so I can have it as a snack post-workout, because I'm basically gonna have that Squares bar now, and then I'm gonna have the yogurt post-workout, and then I won't eat again until my dinner, which to be fair, it is now about 3 o'clock, and we'll probably have dinner probably about 8 o'clock to be fair by the time we actually eat. So decent stint without eating, but as I've said before, I think being hungry during a diet is very normal, and you have to lean into that feeling of being hungry sometimes. If you're never ever hungry during a diet, I'd be kind of like, well, are you actually in a deficit, or are you just like pretending and thinking that you are? So I'm fully ready and I'm aware that I will be hungry, but because I'm expecting it, because I'm leaning into it, I'm cool with it. As long as it's a manageable level and it's not going to be something absolutely nuts, then it's very, very, it's easy enough to deal with, right? So anyway, I am going to eat the Squares bar, head to the gym and train. I will see you afterwards when I get my pre-workout yogurt. All right, we are back from the gym and we managed to secure the goods. Graham's 25 grams of protein peach yogurt, and full disclosure, didn't actually have to go and buy this one because thank you to the Graham's family who dropped off a bunch of stuff at the PT Hub. I don't actually know if they were for everyone to take, but well, the cat's out of the bag now. I took one. 25 grams of protein, peach flavor, the best flavor they do in my opinion. So gonna start and finish eating this now before a quick shower, and I've actually got a consultation with someone who's thinking of joining the Aesthetic Athlete in about 45 minutes. So quick shower, get ready for that, and then yeah, we'll order some dinner. I'm recording. What are you making?
Extra greens, bitch.
Extra greens. Good point. I won't be having those because I'm only eating out today. Just got our dinner. We've got Itsu. I found they do a triple chicken rice bowl, which I will put the... I'll show you how I found it. I just went online to have a look at what I could actually order from here. That's going to help me get a lot of protein in. And they have the new triple chicken rice bowl, which is exactly what I need. So very happy about that. Now, I won't lie though. I'm a bit disappointed in the size. But what do they say? It's not about the size, it's about what you do with it. So, hoping that this is going to do quite a lot for me because I'm pretty fucking hungry and it's looking very small. So I will report back once I have it on a plate so it maybe looks a little bit bigger and a little bit better. But anyway, that's my dinner. So third meal of the day, that is out from Itsu triple chicken teriyaki rice bowl. Definitely looks better on a plate. More in that little box than I thought. So in terms of how I actually tracked this, I'll put it up on the screen and kind of show you where I'm at for the whole day in terms of my calories and my protein. But it's actually quite good ordering from a chain place because they all have their nutritional information available on their website. And all I really had to do was find this dish on their website, and then rather than trying to actually find that specific dish on MyFitnessPal, I was able to just quick add in each of the fats, carbs, and protein, which is obviously then going to work out the calories for me. So that's what I did for this one. Super simple. Now I think that's like only a feature on the paid version of MyFitnessPal, but if not, you can always just track in the total calorie amount and kind of work it out a little bit for yourself. So this is dinner. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm very, very hungry, and I will touch base again just before I have my last snack of the day. But what do they say? It's not about the size, it's about what you do with it. Alright, so we're finishing off the day with a Grenade protein bar, white chocolate, definitely my favourite one so far. And yeah, so that is my full day of eating with literally breakfast out, lunch out, dinner, in, but it was a takeaway Deliveroo, so technically, eating out. And then also all the snacks I had throughout the day as well were just bought on the go. So I've got MyFitnessPal up here. My total calories for the day, 2,803 calories. I am technically 38 over what my target was, but I'm happy enough with that. In terms of my macros, I've already said I'm not too bothered about my carbs and fats. My fats were very high compared to where they usually are, which I kind of expected. Protein, I got 195 grams, so 5 grams shy of the 200 gram target, but I will take that one as well. So overall, I would say a pretty successful day, and it just goes to show, like, the whole point of me doing this video is that, you can still eat out and hit your targets when it comes to calories and protein and still stay on track and just not let it snowball completely out of control. And obviously for most of you guys, when you are planning in meals out, you're not going to have eaten every meal out across the day, so it's actually going to be a lot easier to fit in one meal out, whether that's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, than having to do all three. But I'll prove the point today. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button, send it to a friend that might find it useful, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.